Today's episode, I'm going to be talking about two of the simplest ways to partner up with others and to benefit from the power of their list. We'll talk about that right after this. All right, so you have a situation where you have someone who you want to get in front of their audience. They have a complementary list to your prospect list, which basically means that they don't compete directly with you, but they happen to have the same audience that you have. So how do you get in front of their audience in a tactful and efficient manner? Now, there's really two ways to go about this. There's a free method and there's a paid method. Let me give you the paid method first. With the paid method, there's two approaches that you can use. The first is this. You can simply say to the joint venture or the affiliate or whatever you want to call them that, hey, listen, you know what? I'd like to get in front of your list. I'd like to get a series of 1, 2, or 3 emails out to them, maybe a video in one of those emails. And you say, listen, I'd like to basically purchase the right for you to email out to the list. Now, that's an important caveat. You want to make sure that they are emailing their list on your behalf. If you are directly emailing their list and their list has no idea who you are, it's going to completely defeat the purpose of any joint venture or affiliate relationship. So instead, what you want to do is you want to get the promotional value of having this person mail their list on your behalf. And the way to do that is to say, listen, hey, you have 500 people on your list, you have 1,000 people on your list, and you want to get in front of them? Great. How much would it cost me to have you email this series, send out a series of emails to your list and let them give you a price, fixed fee, great. And you of course make sure that you have a lead capture mechanism for them to come back into your world. Because if they just hear you speak and they don't know how to get more of you, you've kind of defeated the purpose of getting in front of them. So that's one approach to it. Now the other paid approach that you can use to get in front of their list is to have a genuine joint venture a relationship where whoever on their list decides to take advantage of your products or services, well, the person you're joint venturing with gets a percentage of those proceeds. Now, it may be a fixed amount for every purchase. It may be a percentage of every purchase. It may be a one-time deal, or it may continue in perpetuity, which means that if you have a series of products or services for their prospects or for their list, and someone buys product A and B and C, maybe your joint venture partner gets a piece of each of those purchases. And you can set that up in any way that is most convenient for both of you and, of course, is beneficial to both of you. Now, one thing I want to warn you about right off the bat is oftentimes we get greedy with the purchases that we're getting. We're like, hey, it's my product, it's my services, I'm providing it. But here's something important to note is that these new clients would have never been in your world if it wasn't for that joint venture agreement. So make sure you always respect that. Make sure you always pay your affiliates and joint venture partners well, and you pay them in a timely manner. Because remember that those are people that you wouldn't have had in your world otherwise. So those are the two methods that you can use for two paid methods that you can use to get in front of other people's lists. Now I'm going to share with you the free methodology that you can also use to get in front of their list. What you can do is you can agree to interview them for their expertise and ask them to send out the interview to their people. Now what happens is, suppose for example you say, hey Sameer, I want to partner with you and I want to get in front of your list. Well, you're going to say, Sameer, I'm going to interview you, and by default, what's most likely going to happen is I'm going to share that interview with my people. I'm going to say, listen, Joe or Sally or Barbara or any other of these names that come up from the 1960s wanted to interview me, and I wanted to share this interview with you so you guys get value out of it as well. And they now get exposed to you. And on the back end, you can once again have that joint venture agreement. You can say, Sameer, listen, if someone comes into my world through you, well, I'm going to make sure that you get paid a percentage, a commission, or something is going to go on so that there's a mutual benefit. And that's something that you want to put out there as well, because this has to be a fair opportunity for both parties. Many people will do it just out of the goodness of their heart. They're going to say, listen, you're providing great value to my list, so I'll definitely put it out there. Others will want a percentage of it. So there's a paid methodology and there's a free methodology. One of the best ways is to interview other people, get in front of their list, because it adds credibility for them, it adds credibility for you, and it adds huge value to the list that you are now getting in front of that didn't know you before, but now gets to know you in a very educational manner, my air quotes over there, that you're spending the time to educate them and give them valuable information. So those are the two ways to reach out with joint ventures. There are several more. I'll talk about them in other episodes. So thanks so much for checking out this episode of Beer with Sameer. If you got value out of the information you received today, I want you to share this video with your friends. Make sure you do that. Share that with 1, 2, 3 friends who will get the most value out of it. If you want to share it on social media, you got the buttons above right on my site. And if you have a question that you would like me to answer on a future episode of Beer with Sameer, just go to asksameer.com, enter your name and your question, and I will try my best to make sure I answer it on a future episode. Until next time, keep life simple and always remember to play.